But in fact, in 2007, when the Democrats came to power, we passed that bill in the House to stop the bad subprime loans. Unfortunately, the Senate was only 51-49, and it was very difficult to do that. I was on Face the Nation Sunday, and Senator Shelby at one point was critical, Republican, who had been chairman of the Bank Committee during that time in the Senate. He was critical of Secretary Geithner. He said he wasted the Senate's time for 4 hours. I said being accused of wasting the time of the Senate is like being accused of making it cold in Alaska. Breaking that pace to do anything themselves. But we did try to stop these. By then it was too late. So just to summarize, we had a refusal by the conservatives to regulate the granting of subprime mortgages. And we then had a refusal by the conservatives to let us regulate the financial instruments which packaged up those subprime mortgages and sold them all over the world. We're now in a difficult situation that we hope to get out of. I do believe that the economic recovery plan will be helpful. What President Obama did yesterday will be helpful. His next step, the tougher one, is to how do you get the banks back in the lending business? We have this dilemma, by the way, let me say. I understand people's anger at the banks. You know, we have a phrase called collateral damage. It's a kind of an antiseptic phrase for a terrible phenomenon. The phenomenon is that you try to kill bad people and innocent people get killed. It's happening in Afghanistan, but it happened in Germany. Innocent Germans, innocent Japanese died when we defeated the Japanese aggressors. I don't think that was avoidable, but you try to minimize it, and we call it collateral damage. It sort of makes it less troubling maybe than it is. We have the opposite problem with the banking system. We have collateral benefit. There are people who made great mistakes, and in a few cases were even worse than mistakes in the banking system. The problem is that we need to get credit flowing again for our economy to work. And to do that, we have to do some things which will be of some benefit to some of these people. That's the collateral benefit. We're trying to fix the system. They get some benefit. We are trying to minimize that and maximize the more general benefit. That is part of the problem that we're dealing with. We will have to get credit flowing again, work with the banks to help them, frankly, deal with the consequences of their own mistakes. What I hope we will be successful in doing is saying whatever we do, to the extent that this works and profitability returns, we will be repaid. One of the things that people didn't notice when we passed the $700 billion, 5 years from when we passed it, which was last October, in the next presidency, after this term, and I hope it'll still be President Obama, but it'll be whoever gets elected in 2012, that president will have to get a report from the Congressional Budget Office, a neutral body, as to how much of the $700 billion we did not recover. We will get most of it back. So maybe we won't recover $100 billion, maybe $150. He is then mandated by the law, whoever that president is, to send Congress a proposal to raise that money by a series of taxes and fees on the financial industry. In other words, the law says we will get it back from the industry that benefited. And people may say, oh, that's 5 years now. Let me tell you this. Unless there are greater changes in our politics than I anticipate, the Congress that's in power in 2013 is not going to say, oh no, Mr. President, these nice people don't have to pay that. Let's let the American taxpayer pay instead. I guarantee you that that will be made good. But we have these three things that Obama did. I hope they will work, but here's the very good news about all this. We have tough times in getting out of where we are. I think we are going to begin to see some progress. We know how to stop this from happening again, and it's by sensible regulation. Not regulation that kills the phenomenon or that stops the market. In fact, the right kind of regulation is pro-market. We have a problem now that people can't get loans. People will not invest. People won't buy things because they were burned. The investors bought all this junk, this securitized junk, and none of these things that were supposed to protect them have worked. And what we now have to do is give people the confidence to get back into the business of making investments. Again, I'll use a metaphor. It's of the child who touches a hot stove and gets burned and learns not to touch the stove again. Well, that's a good lesson. The problem is we now have people in the economy who got so badly burned that they know they shouldn't touch the stove, or the sink, or the refrigerator, or the toilet. And they're not going near any of it. We need to have some rules in effect so people can differentiate between the kind of things that burn you and the kind of things that benefit them and the economy.